What's up, ladies, gents, everyone in between? Shoe Booty Sports coming at you Tuesday night. Per the always, I'm Graham freaking Powell on this screen. That's Bradley D. Brown on the other. Say what's up, Bradley D. Brown.
What's happening?
We got a few things here and there to discuss sports wise. Before we get going, y'all know the drill. Let's give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Shoe Booty Sports, is presented by Rhino Races. Rhino Races is a virtual race series that offers five different races: a 5K, 10K, half marathon, a marathon, and the one of a kind Rhino Ultra. You can sign up for one or all five of their races at rhinoraces.com. Run your race at your convenience, track it with your fitness app of choice, screenshot your results as proof of completion, submit that screenshot to rhinoraces.com under the submit results section. Once your results are verified by Rhino Races staff, your award will be shipped to you by mail. Also, check out their gear section while you're there for t-shirts, wristbands, decals, and more. That's rhinoraces.com. Rhino Races is the premier virtual running series. You can find us, Shoe Booty Sports, on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on X at Shoe Booty Sports. Last night, the national championship, the Natty, the the granddaddy of them all is the Rose Bowl, but national championship last night, Indiana, Miami. I had Indiana winning. I picked it 38-21. You also had Indiana. I don't remember what your score was.
I had him
Much
by
better.
10. Yeah.
Yeah, much better game than I would say either of us anticipated. Certainly
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, hats off to Miami. They gave us a much better game than what I anticipated by far. So,
They could not block. Indiana could not block number four, the defensive end, whatever his name is. He's going to be a high draft pick
yeah.
in May or whenever the draft is now. I think it's in May. It's in Pittsburgh. I know that. I did see that on the screen on the TV commercial last night. But yes, Miami showed up, came to play. At least the defense did. Indiana, Mendoza, and company struggled at times against Oregon and Alabama. Well, I don't know about Oregon, but Alabama, Indiana punted. I don't know if it was a three and out they had on the first drive, but after that, it was all Indiana. I was thinking maybe that would happen, and then it didn't. It's just the Indiana goes down, gets 3 points, and even then, I thought we might have something here. Indiana did score, go up 10-0, but Miami didn't go away. It got interesting, and it got really interesting in the fourth quarter. Defensive battle in the first half, very exciting fourth quarter. It was a very enjoyable game to watch. My dad came over for it. I'm glad I called him to come over because he got to see that. And yeah, it was a good time all around. I very much enjoyed it. 16-0 Hoosiers. What were your initial just thoughts on the game?
Thought it was a really good game. Like I said, it was a lot closer than what we expected.
We already
Yeah,
said that, Brad.
that's what I was saying. I was reviewing. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. But yeah. I thought it was a good game though. Yeah, I don't know. You threw me off with your little joke there. So we'll just
For
keep
those of
moving
you
on.
watching on Spotify and YouTube, I did a but with the hand motion.
Yeah.
If you're interested, check it out, but it's not that interesting. I wouldn't bother doing it if I were y'all.
Some good
Sad
advice there.
context. I really
Yeah.
threw you off there, didn't I?
Yeah.
Okay. Indiana, they just didn't look as dominant, but they did what championship teams do. I mean, there are opportunities for Miami to take over in the fourth quarter, and Indiana kept answering. And when I'll get to Carson Beck in a sec, but the play that's gonna be replayed in Indiana folklore for the ages will be the 4th and 5 play that Signetti called timeout. You thought they were going to send the field goal unit out. They
Yeah.
took a while to do that. Signetti calls timeout, and then you're thinking, okay, they might actually go for this. And sure enough, here comes the offense, and I'm thinking, okay, that's gutsy. I understand it. it was still gutsy though.
Oh
But
yeah.
I understood it in the moment, and then because the idea is let's go win the thing. Let's not try to just keep the lead and be safe. Let's go win the thing. Let's go play like we're the national champions and go win it. Because you're going up 10 at that point as opposed to 6 if you get if you convert and then eventually get the touchdown. But you're just trying to get the first down at this point. But to call it was 4th and 5, and according to Mendoza after the game, there was a pass option. It was initially supposed to. There was a pass option. That was the first option, and then he decided to tuck and run. It looked like a draw all the way to me.
Yeah, he made that decision pretty quick.
Yeah, it looked like a draw the whole way. I was thinking Friday Night Lights, the movie, when Billy Bob says, I'm going to run it down your throat, and then hands it to the fullback, and then he just has that really good run for a first down. It reminded me of that, but Mendoza shifts, dodges one guy. He's so shifty, and that's one thing about him. He's just big in those moments. He's shifty. He finds ways to weave through defenders or around defenders and get a first down. He's so effective in those moments. Mendoza, that is. And he does that, dodges one defender, gets the first down, bounces off of one or two more, and then does the spin and then the dive. And then he would have scored anyway, but manages to hang on to the ball after stretching out and crossing the goal line and getting hammered by two safeties or two DBs. That's the play, and there's a still shot of him diving. Somebody caught that on camera. Some photographer caught that on camera. That's the play. That's the play that's going to be remembered for ages for Indiana football.
Say that one, heck, they've got another one to pick from is the blocked punt recovered for the touchdown. I mean, that was huge.
There were a few. That was massive because Indiana couldn't get anything going offensively,
No.
and it was a perfect blocked punt. He got nothing but ball, and then managed to avoid hitting the punter after, which at that point didn't matter because he already hit the ball. But still, he's been trained to not hit the kicker, right? And you could see that he gets the block with the left hand, and then still finds a way to dodge the kicker. Indiana covers for a touchdown. Had the other guy not covered it, the guy that blocked it would have gotten it for a touchdown. But yeah, that was huge, and of course, the play that ended it because Indiana kicks the field goal to go up 6. I understood that and agreed with it. I thought
Yeah.
Signetti might go for it again just to try to seal it. Take to get the first down, then take knees to end it. No, he took the points because you're up 6. And my mindset was for them going for it. They hadn't been able to stop them that entire quarter. Miami answered every time in the fourth quarter offensively, and they got to where they were moving the ball fairly easily. So I was thinking maybe Indiana goes for it. So I was a little pulling for Indiana. I was nervous when they kicked the field goal. I was like, okay, you got the 6, but Miami's got the ball, and they're going to have plenty of time.
Yeah.
And Carson Beck, I know he's got haters. I can understand it just from he hasn't played perfectly, especially in clutch moments throughout his what was I think like 7 years as a player. But of course, not all those were as a starter. Only 2 or 3 were as a starter. 3, I think, right? So he hasn't been big in clutch and big games. That was the knock on him, and there's talk. There's the rumors and stuff just about him off the field as far as dating life and all that goes, and maybe attitude towards others, which I don't care about. I don't get caught up in that. But not the most liked guy, but had a good year and all in all a pretty good college quarterback and played really well in the college football playoff. and in the national championship game. Played really well in the national championship game, at least in the second half. I don't put what all happened in the first half on him. They couldn't get anything going against Indiana's defense in the first half. But the second half, Beck made plays. He certainly made plays, and he had a chance. He had a chance to go down in folklore for himself. And it just one bad throw. It was miscommunication. Had to be. It was it was either miscommunication or he thought there was going to be one defender. He thought that safety was going to veer off toward the middle. He didn't. He stuck with the receiver, and then Sharp made the pick to a Miami native, by the way. What's this? Is it Cameron? What was his first name? Sharp, the DB that got the game clinching interception for Indiana.
Don't get me lying to you.
Miami native, along with Fernando Mendoza, by the way. So two Miami guys, two Miami natives were maybe the biggest, or at least as big of a reason as Indiana winning the national championship, beating Miami in the process. Pretty wild, but yeah, the big time pick at the end of the game to seal it for Indiana, and boom, the Hoosiers are national champions, 16-0.
Not a good look throwing it up into triple coverage, and your receiver's not even looking for the ball. He's not even expecting the ball.
It was double coverage, to be fair.
Well, there's a third guy pretty close, but
No, there wasn't.
if we're talking about the same play, I don't know. I've seen it on replay a couple of times today. That looked like
What other play are we going to be talking about?
that's what I'm saying. They look like close to being triple coverage. Just saying. There's another guy close to being around.
Yeah, there was another guy on the field. I'm pretty sure I'm right on this. Maybe I'm not. You got me second guessing myself. But either way, it was not one on one. I think he thought it was going to be one on one. I think he thought the safety was going to go toward the middle since the stacked receivers were on the other side, and maybe one would cut to the middle. I think he thought that's what the safety was going to do. He didn't do that. And in turn, the corner would have ran up more, tried to stay ahead of the receiver. I think that's what Beck was thinking. And he thought he could underthrow it and the receiver could maybe come back to it. That's not what happened. But yeah. Either way, bad decision on Beck's end. But all in all, I don't know. I don't have any feelings, positive or negative, towards Carson Beck. I don't care. I'm not a fan. I'm not a hater either. I hated that. Just the human side of me hated that for him. I hated that for him. That's how he ended his collegiate career. But I loved it for Indiana. I really wanted to see them finish this, and they did. 16-0, first 16-0 team, or one of two 16-0 teams in college football history. The other was like the 1898 Yale team,
yeah, something like that.
I like that they showed the photos of that team next to the Indiana team. Loved that. I don't even know what Yale's mascot is. They named some of the names. I can't remember them. I wish I could. But that was kind of a fun or was a fun comparison to me. And then I got to thinking in my head, what would it be like just to, of course, if we could find a way, of course, there's no way, if those two teams played each other, how that would look. I don't know what Yale would be running offensively, maybe like a single wing, or
they would be so confused by all the rules. It would be a beatdown.
What if Yale just beat the brakes off of them? Just they couldn't stop it. They got like 3 yards every play, and they
no matter what they did,
and they just couldn't stop it. Yeah, it's like it's like Cabot running the dead T offense, or what we did in our early years at Lone Oak with the Diamond T. Basically, just get 3-4 yards every play. At least
Yeah.
that's kind of the idea, and you just can't stop it. That would be Yale, just running like a veer or a T or a single wing. Have you seen the single wing offense? When's the last time you've seen that? Do you even know
I don't
what
know.
that
Didn't,
is?
yeah. Didn't somebody? Thought somebody pulled that off in the NFL like in the last 20 years. Probably the
Maybe had a
Patriots.
form, maybe had a formation of that. But yeah, the single wing is an old one. It's an old offense, and I only recall what it looks like because when I was a reporter, a high school team ran it, and it was a team that played Lono because I remember I was covering that game, and I was just thinking I had talked to Boss, who was the head coach at the time, and he was telling me they ran the single wing, the opposing team. So I did. I just looked up some film on it, and I was just like, "Wow, that's interesting." I mean, it worked for the time, and it didn't work for that team that week, but the high school team I'm talking about. But whatever Yale did in 1898 or whatever it was, it worked okay for them
It
apparently.
wasn't passing the ball, right? Passing was still illegal at that point in time, right?
Oh, I don't know. There was a stretch in the early football years where they passed most of the time, and but it would be under center, and then they roll out, drop back, and then throw it. Just that whole, huh, you know, arm the other arm out and everything. But I mean, you had effective passers back then. Football's changed a lot, but it's not changed that much. I'm sure they had guys that could spin it back in the late 1800s and early 1900s, maybe not late 1800s. I don't know. Either way, we're going down an interesting rabbit hole here. I just think it would be funny to find a way to see those two side by side. I guess ESPN did what they could to create that image last night, putting the photos of the two teams together. Uh, Speaking of ESPN, did you see just the flash of they threw up of a Bella Danger at a certain point in the fourth quarter?
I did.
Yeah, I
I
was like,
did.
yeah, they know what they're doing here. They just found a way to just squeeze that shot into the game of her at the game watching the game. If you don't know who Bella Danger is, Google it if you're 18 or older. You don't have to Google too much, just the name. That's all I'll say. If you're 18 or older, anyway, I just thought that was funny. They went out of their way to do that.
Yeah,
I guess it's
they
real.
had her pinpointed from the time her butt set place in that seat. They knew she was there.
Yeah, I'm certain of that. Well, obviously. So Indiana gets it done. Signetti in year two, the Indiana Hoosiers are national champions in football. That's a
Which is
sentence I
wild.
never thought I
Yeah.
would say. How
Never
cool is that?
it's pretty dang cool considering that was the football program that was had the worst loss record in like all of college football, right?
There's no like. They were the losingest program in all of college football until Signetti got
So
there. Now they're second. They're no longer
yeah,
the losingest, but yeah, they were number one on that.
yeah, and they got a national title in this day and age. I love it, man. It's exciting. It gives other smaller schools hope that anything's possible. I don't see that happening for for a majority of schools, but
Well, of
yeah,
course, well,
glad
hang
to see it
on.
happen to Indiana.
Of course, it won't be the majority of schools, but it could be other schools certainly.
Yes,
Absolutely. Ole Miss could have been that. Ole,
could
Ole
have.
Miss could have easily been in that national championship game and could have been back again, and again, which is another reason I don't understand why Lane Kiffin left. I can understand why you left. You think you're going to have more NIL money to play with. You think you're going to have a more consistent recruiting base and more prestige. But in this day and age, it doesn't matter as much the prestige part. Signetti proved that. He went to the losingest program in college football history and won the national championship in year two and turned it around in year one. You with the transfer portal and the Wild West and as crazy it is as it is right now in college football, you can change your program faster than you ever could. It's not going to take 4 years anymore to turn things around. You can turn it around well right away if you're smart
Yeah.
about it. Signetti proved that. Heck, right, I don't know if the guy is going to win at Arkansas, Ryan Silverfield, but he's already got Arkansas eighth in the transfer portal rankings, whatever that's worth. That might be worth nothing. I don't know. But it's at least a sign. You see the moves that he's making. And the point is you can switch things, you can change things for the better much quicker now than you ever could before. Signetti proved it's possible to do it at really any school within the Power Four or Five. He did it at Indiana. Lane was doing it at Ole Miss. He was in the process of doing it at Ole Miss, and he worked. So this is why I say I don't understand. I understand, but I don't understand. You work so hard to turn I won't say bottom tier SEC program, but a mid card program
Yeah.
into into a top tier program in the conference in the SEC. Like you worked that hard to build that into that program into that, and then you just left, and then you just bounced. When you were in the playoff, when you made the playoff, they were a play or two away from being in that game, and you left
Yeah.
to go to a program that you're going to have to rebuild. Now, I mean, he can build it quicker if he's smart about it. At the same time, this is going to go one of two ways for Lane. It's going to go, I thought it would go great for Brian Kelly. I thought Brian Kelly would win because if LSU can win with Les Miles and Ed Orgeron, of course they're going to win with Brian Kelly. Now he won games, but he lost big ones, and that's why he's out now. And of course, they had a poor start to this past season. Lane's going to have that same kind of. There was no pressure at Ole Miss. There's pressure at LSU with anyone, but now especially with Lane Kiffin taking over in the way that he did it. Not to make this about Lane Kiffin and company, but there is a tie here. Signetti is the anti-Kiffin. He went to Indiana and he made it a perennial power. And as Signetti said himself in an interview, we're going to be the future perennial power of college football. Why would I leave?
Oh.
And here they are, national champions. Lane could have done similar at Ole Miss. Signetti has done it better, but Lane did it better than anybody in the SEC. It's fair to think he could have gotten over the hump eventually. The way the way the way the college football playoff is set, it makes it tougher. It makes it tougher to go win a national championship. Yeah, but I kind of like that. I've become a fan of the playoff, and I don't want to see it expand.
When were you not a fan of the playoff?
I always thought that BCS mostly got it right. Now there were exceptions.
Yeah.
04 USC playing Oklahoma. No, Auburn should have been in that game. Should have been USC Auburn. But hindsight's 2020. I can understand why they thought Oklahoma was still the better team.
Yeah.
Most of the time I thought the BCS got it right, and it just seemed like there were too many games. And it was diluting the bowl season. But that's all right. The only thing I don't like is that the players are starting to take the attitude of the bowl games don't mean anything. And so they're opting out of these bowl games. That's really the only thing I don't like. But yeah, I like the playoff. I guess I just thought there were too many games and it was going to
Hmm.
dilute the bowl season or that someone would get hurt. I don't know because I thought the majority of the time BCS got it right. But with the playoff and Ohio State winning it the year that they did it with Zeke and Cardale Jones and company, that wasn't my pick to win it, and then they go and do it. I'm like, okay, well, this is interesting, and you're getting similar. You've gotten similar games like that over the years, and I mean the first round last year was trash, as in weren't competitive really. The first round games this year, at least the ones involving the Tulane and James
Yeah.
Madison. You sub James Madison and Tulane out, you insert Notre Dame and whoever else, Vanderbilt, whatever. I would love that playoff scenario. But I don't know, it worked out. They got it right.
Yeah.
They got the two best teams in the country to play for the national championship. That's hard to argue.
I'm not arguing. It was fun to watch. Except for those first two games. You're right. Um, yeah. Other than those two blowouts, yeah, everything else was fun to watch. Even the blowouts that Indiana ended up having,
Yeah, I
just
loved
curb
watching
stomping good.
those. I loved
Yeah,
watching
especially
those
the
just
Alabama one. Yeah.
yes, just because I've become an Indiana fan and I'm not an Alabama fan, so that was really fun to watch. Yeah, we got a great game. Mendoza is riding off into the sunset because he even if he wanted to come back, one, why would you? How are you going to top that? Two,
Yeah.
does he even have eligibility left?
I don't think he does.
They're finally cracking down on that. By the way, they're denying the sixth and seventh and eighth years. I, Chad Morris's kid is trying for a seventh or eighth season, and they denied that. Chandler Morris, that's his name,
As they should. Yeah.
as they
Man,
should.
dude,
It's like go get a job, buddy.
you're almost 30, man. Just go out there in the real world.
Yes. If you're old at 30 to be in college as a student, you're definitely old to be a player at almost
Yeah.
30 in college football. Go get a job, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad they're cracking down on that. Looks like there could be some sanity returning to the rules of college football. So Mendoza, see the number one pick. Is he gonna be? They were saying last night it was definite. Yeah, he's gonna be the number one
Yeah.
pick. I don't know if they said definite, but they kept saying he's gonna be the number one pick. Is he?
Yeah. I've been hearing everybody else saying congratulations to the Raiders for on Mendoza. I mean, it's foregone conclusion that he's going to be the first pick.
If he is, I I don't know that I'm not happy that it's the Raiders. At the same time, at least it's not the Jets. I would cry
Could be
for
worse.
Fernando Mendoza if it were the Jets.
Yeah.
That was one thing about Trevor Lawrence being drafted by Jacksonville. I said, "Oh, I was because it was between them and the Jets," and I was thinking, just God, just please don't go to the Jets. His career is going to be over if he goes to the Jets. And you see how the Jags did this year and how the Jets did this year. They couldn't get it done even with Aaron Rodgers. Of course, the Steelers couldn't really either at that point, but that's another topic. Um, I'm just glad Fernando Mendoza doesn't go to the Jets because I'm thinking with Brady as a part owner for the Raiders, you can't. He's I want to see Brady sit down with the franchise quarterback, like the guy that they're trying to make the franchise quarterback find in the draft. I want to see Brady do that evaluation. I want to see him sitting down talking to potential draftees, and I want to see Brady lead that process. And if he does that with Fernando Mendoza, How is he not? How is that guy not going to fly or pass with flying colors? You know what I mean?
Yeah, he would think so.
He is the cookie cutter franchise quarterback. Got his head strong in his faith, great player,
Yeah,
complete nerd when it comes to football and learning football
yeah.
and really anything. Head as straight on his shoulders as could possibly be, from everything I can tell. That's your cookie cutter. Hey, this is going to be the guy. If you're the Raiders, that's got to be the easiest pick. He can make all the throws. He's shifty in the pocket. That's got to be the guy. So if it is the Raiders, you've got a tight end, a security blanket like Brock Bowers, best tight end in the football, least most talented, and he's young. He's going to be around for a while. I I guess I'm happy for him. Mendoza, that is. If the Raiders can get things right and turned around and do every other thing right, because they haven't really done that. There's a reason they got the number one pick, but it's what it is. Either way, congratulations to Indiana, Kurt Signetti and company. And Indiana's here to stay, by the way. They're not going anywhere. I'm not
I
saying they're going to win it every year, but Indiana's here to stay.
mean, Mendoza's no Darius Hayward Bay, but I think he'll do just fine.
There you go. Inside joke for those of you that don't understand what we're talking about, but it was a good one. Take our word
No.
for it, or mine. All right, well, let's run down some playoff football before we get out of here. Um, how did we do picks wise this week?
I couldn't tell you. I want to say we did pretty good. I don't think there were any shockers. Well, we lost the Bills. We both picked the Bills, but
We did.
they let us down. Uh, some big news out of the Broncos game is uh, the QB going down. Old Bo Nix going down with some broken bone in his foot or ankle. So yeah, he's out of the playoffs now. So they're going to the backup, who I think is another fellow Auburn alumni,
Eric
Jared Stidham.
Stidham.
Or
Eric
yeah.
Stidham, yeah.
So man, we'll see. I have no idea what to expect. But luckily, the other defense, the opposing defense, will not know what to expect from him either. So it could be interesting, but I doubt it. We'll see. We'll see if the Patriots can handle him.
I don't think it'll be interesting. I think the Patriots will
It'll be
win, and they'll.
interesting for a little bit.
I think the Patriots win, and I don't think there will be that much drama. Who knows? Maybe there will be, because I thought Indiana would beat Miami handily. That didn't happen. I got the pick right, but it was a much
Yeah.
closer game than anticipated. Either way, I got the Patriots in the Super Bowl. I got them beating the Broncos, going to the Super Bowl. And on the other side of the, well, first of all, uh, CJ Stroud and the Texans. Stroud just, it was a rough day.
Ass.
Yeah.
Four
Uh,
picks.
Four, one of which I don't put on him. It was off the
Yeah.
receiver's hands, but still, you had three others that were on you. Not a good day from Stroud. Hopefully, he comes back from this and gets better. Because I've said on this show many times, with him coming out of the draft, I think this is a franchise quarterback. He didn't make me look good last weekend, though. But either
No.
way, on the other side of things, Seahawks absolutely curb stomped the
Demolished.
49ers. Of course, they were just playing with Christian McCaffrey at that point, and even then, McCaffrey got hurt, right?
I don't know, man. I flipped that game off. That one was just out of
He
hand
didn't
way too
finish it either.
quickly. Yeah.
I did tune into Rams Bears, though. What a throw by Caleb
Man.
Williams, by the way.
Which one?
The one to send them to overtime.
He had a couple of them though, but yeah, he had some amazing throws.
He did.
But yeah, running,
Pickett
sprinting backwards and then turning around and flinging a touchdown. It's got to be a good feeling, right?
just casually flinging it 50
Just-
yards perfectly, like
yeah,
perfectly on the money. Uh, the the Bears are. I think the Bears are here to stay too. It's year two with Caleb Williams, year one with Ben Johnson. The Bears are going to be okay. but the
They'll have to
Rams are
change up
built
their
to win now.
strategy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got the
Change up their strategy from
Patriots.
coming from behind.
Yeah. Okay. Patriots going to the Super Bowl. Rams Seahawks, that's a little bit tougher to me. Who do we have in that?
Man, I don't know. I'm gonna go with the Seahawks.
It's
Seems to
tough.
be
The
their year.
Seahawks defense is so nasty. Statistically, certainly fantasy wise, we're the best defense in the league. They looked like the best defense in the league against San Francisco. It was just, it was a curb stomp. 41-6. The other side has Matt Stafford, though. Puka Nakua, Kyron Williams, Colby Parkinson's turned into a weapon.
Yeah.
If anybody can do it, it's Stafford. Stafford can do it. He's the most decorated, the best quarterback left in the playoffs. Surefire Hall of Famer, Super Bowl champion. If the Rams can, Stafford's going to have a heck of a game. I don't know what the season split is between the two, or what the series, what the records were between the two teams. But
Yeah.
as much faith as I have in Stafford, I'm going Seahawks. Defense wins championships at the end of the day. That's still a thing, by the way. And this defense is that good. I got Seattle winning Sunday and possibly winning the whole thing. But we'll make those picks next time, leading up to the Super Bowl. But we're out of time. Until then, we'll see y'all next time. More football and then some. But till then, Grandpa on this screen.
Brother Brown.
Deuces, y'all.
Peace.